participating on webinar. Questions can be typed in, so we'd ask you to do those sort of before the section of the agenda that they relate to. But by all means, certainly we're monitoring continuously, so if you have questions and you're watching us on webinar, please just type those in and we'll address them as we can. Okay, a copy of the minutes have been made available for inspection both here and on the web of our previous AGM. Were there any matters arising from those minutes? No? All right, there being no matters arising from the minutes, can I have a member that was present at that last AGM please move that we accept them as read? Dave Slendo, thank you. And can I have a seconder? Was anyone at that AGM last year? Thanks, Dennis. Dennis Staley. Okay. My report for the year. It's my honour to present the 2011-2012 annual report of the Institute of Quarrying Australia, and this is my first year as President. This is the first full year of our 2011-2014 strategic plan, and the Board are delighted to report that all key performance indicators have either been achieved or are on target to be achieved. For this, I would like to sincerely thank the members of the Board and Council, together with our dedicated and hard-working National Office staff team. This past year has seen unprecedented growth in IQA membership, particularly in our younger members, who now represent 11% of our total membership. This outcome is directly attributable to the outstanding work of the many volunteers in our branches and the Young Members Network, in both promoting IQA membership and providing value to membership through educational activities, networking opportunities and industry promotion. Through the excellent efforts of our General Manager Paul Sutton, we have seen growth in our educational products and professional development programs, which have not only assisted the upskilling of workers in our industry, but have provided IQA with funds that we've been able to reinvest into the quarrying industry through development of new training packages, development of educational products, and a $40,000 donation to the Australian Institute of Quarrying Education Foundation. I'd also like to acknowledge the wonderful contribution made by the AIQEF again this year in providing funding for educational related activities in IQA and across our branches. There have been many highlights over the past year, including a very successful annual conference in the Hunter Valley, our training and PDP programs, and the emergence of an active Young Members Network, which now has coordinators in each state. None of these successes would have occurred without the contribution of many of you through our branches and sub-branches who volunteer your time to support our institute and ensure the ongoing relevance and viability of IQA. A big thank you to you all. In closing, I would like to acknowledge and thank our many sponsors and supporters who year after year contribute to IQA in many ways to ensure that we remain well placed to meet the many challenges within our industry and that our members face. Thank you. Okay, can I have someone move that the President's report for 2011-12 be received and accepted? Peter Mayo, thank you Peter. And the seconder? Clayton Hill, thanks Clayton. Okay, I'd now like to consider and receive the annual report. Most of you would have either received a copy and or read it on the web. Do we have any questions related to the annual report? No questions online either. Okay. Unfortunately, Ian Collins, our supply industry representative, couldn't be with us tonight. Oh, sorry, I need to move and second that. Okay, can I have someone remove the acceptance of the annual report? Paul Kerr, thank you. And seconded? Clayton Hill, thanks Clayton. Okay, supply industry. Unfortunately, we don't have a report, but what I can report is that Ian gave a report at the CEMEC 12 conference in relation to suppliers' feedback on that conference. And at the same time, Ian was re-elected as chair of the supply industry group, and Ian works with Westrac, and he's going to be ably supported by Paul Chenery from Komatsu. All right, Rod, I might let you do the office bearer elections for me.
Sure. Thanks, Wayne. By virtue of my position, I guess in accordance with the rotation of the IQA constitution, the following nominations were received, unopposed for the two positions that become vacant. For the Vice President position, John Midas was nominated by John Malampre and seconded by Rod Martini. We'd received 3 direct votes, all voting for, none against. All those in favour of John Midas being re-elected as Vice President of the Board of the IQA, by a show of hands. All those against? I declare that John Midas has been re-elected as a Vice President, member of the Board of the IQA, and I congratulate John on his appointment. The second position and nomination was received for the Vice President by Leanne Parker. That was nominated by Wayne Scott and seconded by Scott Tipping. There were 3 direct votes received, no proxies. They are all in favour, none against. All those in favour of Leanne Parker being re-elected as Vice President of the Board of the IQA by a show of hands. Thank you. All those against? I declare that Leanne Parker has been re-elected as Vice President, member of the Board of the IQA, and I congratulate her. Back to you, Wayne.
Thanks for that, Rod, and I'd just like to personally congratulate both John and Leanne and welcome them back for another term on the board. Okay, appointment of our auditor. HLB Newhouse have done a pretty good job in auditing the books for this year. They have expressed an interest in continuing in that role. Remuneration for the audit this year was $3,750, and it's expected to be approximately $4,000 in the financial year ending 2013. HBL Newhouse being the only nomination for auditor, I'd like someone to nominate them as auditor. Dave Sento, thank you, and seconded Dennis Staley. Thanks for that. All those in favour of Newhouse being appointed? Thank you very much. All right, I'd like to ask Greg Goodser, the Chairman of Australian Institute of Education Foundation, Institute of Quarrying Education Foundation, to give his report. Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, Wayne. Gentlemen, it's my pleasure to this year actually give a report after the Education Foundation has actually been in business for 30 years this year. The full report will be on the AIQF website with a link available from the IQA. In the last year, the Foundation continued to support educational initiatives that benefit quarrying, and in total we gave around about $176,000. Of this, $134,000 was to support the IQA Education Officer. There were 4 states that applied for money, and we gave out $16,000 for that. We helped develop the Environmental Management for Quarries course, and $22,000 was given for that. And of course, the Alex Northover Award, we spent $4,000. Just in saying, the recent conference that we had, the Alex Northover Award recipients were absolutely magnificent this year. It was great to see. We, under our memorandum of understanding with the IQA, we haven't let them know that next year they can have up to the $150,000, and we've allowed $30,000 for industry monies to be spent as well. So a total of $180,000 is available this year for funding. The monies that we have invested, we've got around about $1.6 million in equities at the moment. During the year, because of the potential for losses with the guarantees being taken away by the banks, or by the government on banks, we've now put our monies in lots of $250,000 into various banks. So this has meant a little bit less interest available, but a little bit more safety. So we've got $1.35 million in fixed term deposits in 5 various banks. The auction this year, or over the last 10 years, we've averaged $35,000 over the last 10 years each year. The last 5 years, for instance, it has actually been $36,000 average. We are concerned, and we bring this to the notice of the IQA, that we need a very, very good auction to be held. This year we only made $18,000, and it cost us and the IQA around about $7,000 to run that auction. We need, for our sponsors, a very good auction. We need that money to keep this foundation going. Finally, I thank the councillors for their great support during the year, all given on a voluntary basis. And also I would like to thank very much Peter Mayo, who's come on board this year as our Secretary-Treasurer in very difficult circumstances, and Peter has done an excellent job. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. We've had no advice of any general business. I'll just check if we have any questions on the webinar, which may be lawfully brought forward. Does anyone have anything they would like to say, though, or questions they'd like to ask before we close? Great crowd. Okay. As there's no further notice of business, I declare the AGM for 2012 closed at 6:20. Thank you very much, and I'll hand over to Clayton, the Queensland branch function. I don't think I broke any records, though, did I? I get close.